Hi, Arjun. So, first of all, thank you so much for
Hi.
taking time out towards
Th-
Wednesday evening in India, and
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm very happy to have a chat with you, interact with you, and understand your work, your life, your music vision, etc., etc. So,
Hmm.
without much of ado, I'll pick one thing first to start with. 2011. That was when
Mm.
Why This Colaveri remix came. Then
Yes.
the second, I may call it, in at least external world's perspective, a
Hmm.
milestone. Suit came in. You released a remix of O Jaane Jana
Pal
a
Ka
while
Jeena.
back, and now you have
Yeah.
released remix of Ek Pal Ka Jeena about a month back. So
Yes.
you
Correct.
come up, Arjun, I'll be very honest with you. When somebody talks about you, when I look at you, and when I hear you, and when I think of you, you come up with a unique sound, right? It is an English version of Indian music, if I may call it.
Hmm. Yep.
How has your sound evolved and the journey been for you so far? Because English might not be the first language that attracts the Indian audience. However, here you are doing well, and your reach speaks for itself. So how has this panned
Mm.
out for you?
Right. So yeah, taking it back to Collabs, as you mentioned first. That was, I think, my first ever kind of remake attempt to kind of make an Indian song sound more like English, like an R&B version of an Indian song. So this was back in the era of YouTube. Nowadays, it's become TikTok and Instagram Reels, but back then it was all about YouTube, and I think that was I had just begun my channel. I was experimenting because I'm actually my father is Tamil, so actually my background is Sri Lankan, hence the kind of the poor Hindi in some of my songs here and there. But yeah, so my ethnic background is Sri Lankan, but I was born in the UK, so I actually kind of have this kind of hybrid NRI kind of identity anyway. So I have this sort of East meets West fusion in my upbringing as well. So it began with me sort of singing more English songs, original songs of my own. I then began to kind of experiment as a producer and a kind of a remixer. I began to take Indian songs and kind of apply my kind of English R&B fusion to that. So Colibri was the first one that went pretty viral at the time. Again, that was shot in my bedroom. I wasn't signed to a label. It was just a home cover in my pajamas. Very relaxed video, which went viral. And then on the back of that, I began to do a lot more kind of Hindi, Tamil, Punjabi, Spanish. Fusing English with other cultures basically. So and then I began to kind of explore Hindi more. I mean, I've been kind of brought up around mainly Indians. I mean, my entire friend circle in UK is Indian. They're all Punjabi, Gujarati, Sindhi. So I mean, I've kind of been around Bollywood from them actually. My parents are more into Western music and English and jazz and R&B and hip hop. My friends are all into Bollywood and Punjabi music. So I think that's why I kind of had this hybrid influence. So yeah, I think then I began to kind of experiment with Hindi. I did a few covers, which actually caught the attention of T-Series. T-Series then signed me in 2014. So for 4 years I was with them. I did a song called "I'll Be Waiting." Kabhi Badal. That was the first one with them, which went pretty viral in India too. And then off the back of that, we did some original songs, mainly in Punjabi with people like Guru Randhawa, Suit, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it kind of took off from there. So yeah, that was the kind of beginning of the journey.
One of the interesting things about you is that you speak six languages, if I'm not wrong. Hindi, English, Tamil,
Uh,
Sinhalese,
speak
Spanish,
no, I
and
wouldn't say I speak them. I sing them.
you sing in them.
So difference is that I don't understand half of what I'm saying, but I mean I'm able to sing in approximately six. Yeah, I'd say Tamil is not so great. Sinhalese more. Sinhalese, Hindi, Punjabi, English, Spanish. Done a couple of Bengali songs as well. So yeah, but it's mainly I'd say I'm known as the English guy. So I mean my kind of identity in India has been always been English music, as you mentioned before. So yeah.
So how has this collaboration happened with Saregama? How did this turn out?
So I've always been a fan of old school Bollywood songs.
Hmm.
Saregama is the OG label who has all the biggest hits, in my opinion,
Yeah, yeah.
from childhood era. So I think this song I've had in my mind to kind of rework it. But the thing is, some of these massive songs are very very risky sometimes because there's such cult followings for these songs, you know, for the dance moves, for the actors involved with the songs. So last year we did Jana Jana, as you mentioned, which is a Salman Khan massive classic, which went pretty well. That had about 2 million reels, and it was, you know, big trending song. So on the back, and then I kind of thought this is my next favorite classic song. Again, very tricky territory because obviously it's a massive cult song. But I feel like we have to kind of it takes longer to kind of work out how to get the balance right to not offend the OG fans of the song, and that's why it took about almost a year to kind of get the production finished and everything. But yeah, so it came out just about a month ago. It's done really well as well. So happy with the vibe so far. Yeah.
And you're yourself looking very amazing in the video itself, with the with all the original dance moves having been aced by you. So
Oh.
it's a beautiful video to even watch. How did this entire thing come about?
Yes, I mean dancing is not my forte. I'm not gonna lie. It takes me a couple of takes. That's some good editing there, I think. But Hrithik is obviously the god of dancing, so obviously that was a challenge to try and emulate that move. But I think, I mean, I tried to do it, you know, do my best. But that wasn't really the that wasn't my favorite part of the shoot. I'm more in my zone when I'm, you know, when I'm kind of performing and not dancing as much. But yeah, it was shot in London on a very rainy day. The plan was to have a kind of it's shot in a abandoned airplane hangar. So it's actually like an amazing site, a massive location, but it rained all day, so that kind of affected the shoot quite a lot. But we so shot in a tunnel in a hangar on a runway. So yeah, it was. We tried to channel that '90s vibe with the kind of dress sense, with the sunglasses, all that, you know, kind of that sort of that '90s vintage sort of vibe. And then yeah, I feel like the song to me is like a driving song. Hence why I think, you know, I've seen on Instagram reels that there's a load of biker gang, like biker reels, bikers and cars, and I feel like that the song has that sort of driving vibe to me. So that seems to have popped off.
How
So
you
yeah.
pick these songs?
It's usually my kind of forte is production. So I mean, or programming as you call it in India. I think my actual the joy I get is from taking something like a sample or something which is, you know, which has inspired me in my youth and trying to work out how to make that sound a bit more new age. How does it fit in today, basically, through production. So I mean, the beat comes first for me always. So I try and find something in the song which I think is a hook. Like in this case, the guitar part, the intro guitar, and then kind of put a bass under it, an 808 and a kick, and, you know, kind of make it sound a bit more urban. And yeah, so the production for me is the initial starting point, and then finding a melody, finding a way to kind of combine the Western and Eastern vibes. So yeah.
When you talk about production, when you talk about composition, when you talk about writing, one of the things that is
Yeah.
becoming very not prominent, at least yet, but I think in the near future it will
Hmm.
become prominent, is AI. And we are seeing
Mm.
you know, it becoming a both uh, a boon and a bane in the same breath. How do you see
Yeah.
AI?
I mean, it's kind of scary times. On one hand, I feel like it's there's a lot of jobs that are going to be probably lost due to, you know, efficient AI versions of human beings. But I think there's exciting stuff and there's some scary stuff. I think there's an app called Suno, which is being used by a whole bunch of artists now,
Yeah.
of producers now. Timberland from the US is actually kind of a co-founder of that. I think that is I feel like going to be the kind of the scariest in terms of, you know, you can kind of generate a song in seconds that would take somebody probably hours or days to make that kind of song. So I think there still has to be some human input. I hope that is my hope that we'll still have to have some human angle in everything. I've yet to try Suno actually. I mean, I use AI for other things in life like ChatGPT, but I haven't actually applied it to my craft yet. But I think it's time to try and learn some of these prompting tools and skills. And I think, you know, I think it can help, but I am a bit concerned that it's going to affect, you know, people's jobs as well. So
Yeah,
that's my
for
take on
sure.
it.
For sure.
Mm.
And the
Yeah.
other part is that, look, at the end of the day, the biggest problem that I foresee is how the revenues are going to be, the streaming revenues, the royalties, etc., are going to be disbursed, because
Mm.
at the end of the day, AI does
Yeah.
not pick up something on its own. It picks up from already that exists. And if
Mm.
that is the case, then the one that exists should get the revenue from the AI generated songs rather than the AI
Mm.
artist getting the revenue stream.
Thing is, I mean, there are AI songs that are completely made by AI artists. Like literally, there are artists who are getting millions of streams without being a real person. There's literally AI accounts on Instagram, on Spotify that are just an entirely fake person, basically, which is a bit that's a bit scary too. I mean, I think there was a case in the US where somebody entered the top 100 R&B chart in the US without even being a human being. I think it's like somebody goes producing and then having an AI as the front face. So yeah, it is pretty scary. I mean, the one thing that I think is useful is, for example, to make a demo. So if I'm not in the studio, if I haven't got time, somebody can track my voice and paste my voice onto a demo just to save time. But that
Right.
ideally, you shouldn't be releasing that, in my opinion. That's where that ethical thing comes a bit. I feel like that should not be allowed, really. I think that should be copyrighted. I mean, if somebody is using my voice and making a song, then I should be getting a cut of that for sure. I think that there was a song which of Drake. Someone used Drake's voice
Yeah.
and put out a song on Spotify which was trending and getting a lot of streams, and that was again, it's like it's a gray area because it's Drake's voice, but someone else has made the song. So how do you? Yeah, it's very tricky. But I think that'll be a way to kind of police it. I think they'll have to make some laws around it. I'm pretty sure pretty soon.
Let's talk about this song of yours. When you are making a song, which is this is a classic, right? And this has a huge fan following. This has a huge recall value, and it has in many ways to a particular generation. It has a lot of sentimental value. What are the key
Yeah.
things you kept in mind so that uh, you end up on the right side of it?
Yeah. I think obviously the main thing is keeping Lucky Ali Sir's voice in the song. That was pretty important. I think that, having him in the song um, gives it, that feeling of how it felt back in the day. If I had sung that, I think it'd have been a bit weird, personally. That I think that main hook of the guitar, that to me was the crucial element. That was what I think drove the song. We actually had a debate whether to actually put any original song words in the song, or to make a completely thing from scratch and then just sample the guitar. But I felt it was actually more meaningful to have the actual chorus hook in there as well. So actually, there's a sort of a Hindi rap by Melody, a good friend of mine, who actually co-wrote the song, and that to me was one of the more kind of new age things. I wanted to try and add some rap to it. I thought Hindi made more sense than English. So yeah, so the kind of components came together from here and there. It began as a fully English song with just a beat and the sample for the guitar. Then I added Ali's voice, and then I added Mellow in after that. So I think it all gelled together after that. But the question you asked was, how did I avoid offending people? Whose past it was. Yeah, I think it's tricky. There's always going to be people, honestly, who get offended in this sort of lane. I know I would be if I loved a song and somebody destroyed it, and I'd be like, what? Like that's
No,
super
it's not
annoying. So I
destroyed.
think
Trust me, it's beautifully
no,
made.
no, I know. I'm just saying. I mean, it's subjective, right? End of the day. I mean, nobody can have the same. I mean, my mom might hate the song, my dad might love the song. Like in my house alone, there's going to be different opinions. I think you can't get too offended by people's opinions. I mean, that's just what it is. I think there's obviously going to be a large faction who like it, and some that don't. So I think that's just part of being an artist, and being having a thick skin, I guess. But I mean, Touchwood has been a very good response. I've been very happy with the response. So
Yeah, it's got a
it hasn't
really
been
good response.
hasn't
It's a
been
good
too much.
song.
Yeah.
I've been discovering about your work. I've been reading about you, and I've been trying to understand about you as well. And one of the things that I've understood and read is you have performed on massive arenas. You have performed, you have opened for some of the most established acts. You have done the headlining. You have entertained the audiences all over, be it in UK, US, India. How do you plan yourself when you go out for a live performance?
So, if I'm honest, this is a big challenge because I've actually done a whole different bunch of genres of music. So, I've done about 4 or 5 songs for Tamil movies. I've done some songs for Hindi movies. I've done remixes. I've done fully English songs. So I think I've got in different parts of the world. I honestly have to change my set. So, if I go to for example, a very Punjabi place, I have to sing more Punjabi music for sure. I can't sing any Tamil music. That's not going to work. If I do a South Indian show with Tamils, they don't want to hear much Hindi or Punjabi. They want to hear mainly English, Tamil, like South languages. I think it's always, I mean, on a much bigger scale, A.R. Rahman, sir, he has the same challenge, but a much bigger challenge than me because he's literally got half his catalog in Hindi and half of it is in Tamil. And then when he sings too much Hindi, the Tamils get offended. When he sings too much Tamil, the Hindi fans get annoyed. So that's I mean, people coming to a concert. I guess the gift and the curse is that because I do a bunch of different things. The gift is that I can do shows anywhere in the world, pretty much, because I have songs for each part of, for Pakistanis, Bengalis, like anybody in the world. I guess I have songs that appeal to them, but I don't have a mass scale. Like I'm not, like, for example, singing only in Punjabi with a very loyal, strong Punjabi audience. For example, Karan Aujla is singing only in Punjabi. He's just much larger artist than I am, but I feel like his audience. It's, I mean, every show he does, it's easy for him because he's going to sing Punjabi music. So I think for me, that one challenge is that I have to always slightly adjust and tweak my live show based on what I'm performing. But yeah, I mean, but I've been blessed because I feel like the diaspora has been my kind of my main market. I'd say. So UK, Canada, US, Australia, Dubai, Malaysia, like wherever there's Indians who like Western and Eastern music, which is pretty much everywhere, we're able to perform, which is good. But I feel like, yeah, in India itself, the challenge is basically north south mainly. It's like if I do a show in Hyderabad, what do I sing? Do I sing Suit Suit? I don't know, maybe, probably, but I'm not sure they're going to react to it. It's the same way if I sang that in Delhi or something, that's going to go off much bigger. So yeah, I think that is the challenge of my live show.
I saw you have been credited a lot of songs as an actor on Spotify. What's that?
Actor.
Yeah.
So no, it's actually as a writer and composer. I'm not acting in anything. So
Have you
if there's any
checked? Have
South
you
Indian
checked on
films,
Spotify? There's a movie called
yes,
Gentleman of
there's a few that
1993.
I've just had a whole bunch of songs taken off my profile because I keep getting tagged. The issue with having this name, Arjun, it was a big mistake. I don't know why I chose the most common Indian name in the world because it's fine when I was in the UK, I was the only Arjun. Now when I come to India, there's 50 Arjuns. There's Arjun Tendulkar, Arjun Kapoor, Arjun, Alu Arjun, Arjun Kanungo. There's about, probably I could name about 10. So I think I should have probably made that, I made it slightly more, Arjun something. The issue is that my last name is too long. Kumaraswamy is my last name. That's way too long to be. That's not an artist name. So, but no. But I think there are some there are probably 4 or 5 Tamil movies that I've been part of as a singer and composer, and there's about probably 4 or 5 which are not meant to be on my profile, which are currently being taken off. So
Yeah.
yeah, that might be one of them. Gentleman, I was not part of for sure. So
Of course. I mean, that was a
yeah,
1993 movie. You were 3 years old.
yeah,
So
exactly. So yeah,
it
there you
has to
go.
be
So
it has to be taken out,
yeah, I'm
But
not
just I was
sure.
just
That's the
I
thing.
was very curious to see that. And it took me to the
Yeah,
whole
no,
profile, and then I started filtering, and I saw you've
no,
been
that is
credited
confusing.
for a lot of songs from Gentleman. Maybe you may take a look later on.
Yeah, yeah, and that is we actually we had about 10 movie soundtracks taken off my profile in the last few months. Things that keeps getting, I think, because labels are now backdating and they're giving credits to everybody from all these old movies now, and they're tagging people without thinking too much about
Yeah.
which artist they're tagging. They're just probably searching Arjun, first Arjun that comes up, we'll just tag we'll just tag him. So yeah, it
So
might have been
this
Arjun Sarja. Arjun Sarja was an actor back in the day. That might have been in his movie. I don't know.
I have no idea,
Anyway.
man, who's that going to be, but it's definitely not you
Mm.
because you
No.
were barely speaking by then.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So anyway, but that brings to an important question also about the metadata of how the quality of
mm,
data is getting maintained in on these
yeah.
apps, and how does that impact an artist? For example, if the data is not rightly updated, somebody else may get credit, somebody may not get credit.
Mm,
Have you
yeah.
seen impact of data not being updated rightly and having felt that impact on yourself on these apps?
Yeah, I think happens a lot, honestly. I think that the problem is that, I mean, artists only recently have understood that they should be getting more than they've been getting. I mean, credits, money, royalties, all these things that artists used to basically just think, okay, that's too complicated to think about. Let me just do live
Yeah,
shows. But I think now in India, finally, in the West, it's been happening for a long time. They have bodies that track all these royalties
yeah.
and, admin sort of thing. But in India now, I think people are becoming much more aware of artists crediting, proper credits, proper, publishing royalties and, all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, it's happened to me many times. I mean, based on the fact that my name is Arjun, and that's also not helped for sure. But I don't think anybody's wrongfully, intentionally tried to wrong me. I don't think somebody, not give me credit because I've always been generally very involved in the project. So I tend to be, I tend to write my own song, I produce the beat usually, and I sing. So I mean, I'm always heavily involved in the track. So yeah.
Fair enough. But I think that also And then in that case, somebody like a Saregama comes in the picture and you work with them, all of a sudden things are starting to fall in place, and
Mm,
your credits and the metadata part is taken care of. And then when you're
yeah.
working with a label, you can a label of a certain repute, you can definitely be rest assured
Mm,
that you don't have to get into all these smaller things, or not smaller things, but these
yeah.
things which are non-creative
Hmm.
per se, and you can focus
Yeah.
more on creativity. So, on
Exactly.
that note, what do we expect more
Hmm.
from you coming out with Saregama?
Mm, for sure. Yeah. The aim is to do some more a mixture of original songs and a few remakes as well. I mean that catalog is very, you know, it's tempting to work with them because of that, because they have all the great songs in their catalog. So I've been in India for about 2 3 weeks. I've been working on a bunch of songs for them actually. So we're gonna chat soon, I think. So yeah, once we've sort of determined whether to do more originals or more remakes, I think that'll be the kind
So,
of
what's
main
planned for
debate.
2026 that we have just started?
So yeah, so
Generally,
bunch
not
of
just
touring.
Saregama, but generally.
So yeah, so again, mixture of songs in all different languages. We're doing a couple of collaborations, which I don't know if I can mention the names yet because I always say stuff and then it doesn't come out. I had a song with Diljit that didn't come out. I had a song with Rahat that didn't come out. So I don't want to jinx it too much, but there's a few big collaborations we're working on. Going to be a bunch of touring. So actually, I'm going to be touring in the US mainly in Feb, and we're doing a show in South America coming up, I think, in 2 weeks, and then in Sri Lanka we're trying to plan a concert as well. Weirdly, despite being Sri Lankan, I've never done a proper concert in my own hometown, which is
Oh
really
God.
really baffling. Um, if I'm honest, when I first started singing, I mean, Sri Lankans kind of assumed that I was Indian because I sang Hindi music, but
I
also
always
because
thought
I'm
you were
half.
an Indian.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. So I go to Sri Lanka and I go to a TV station and I do an interview and they're like, "Oh, how are you finding it your first time in Sri Lanka?" I was like, "I was actually born here. My parents are from Sri Lanka." So anyway, but yeah, but because I'm half Tamil, half Sinhalese, I've always had this slight clash because of the issues back in the day with the Tamil Tigers and the government. There was always this split. So in the UK diaspora, Tamil diaspora, there's always a lot of conflict, back in the 2000s. So that was every time I do something Tamil, I get some backlash from Sinhalese, and every time I do something Sinhalese, I get backlash from Tamil. So again, I thought I'll be Indian. It's easier because I mean, my name is Arjun and I sing Hindi, so I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, I think that initially was a problem. I think now it's fine. So I actually have been doing a lot more Sinhalese. I dropped a Sinhalese song, again, a remake of a really big classic Sinhalese song called Oye Ojaye. It's actually a very fun song with the artists themselves who made the song called the Gypsies, and that trended in Sri Lanka, which went on. I think the plan now is to do a proper concert in Sri Lanka, in my home country, and then yeah, touring in India, America, UK as per usual. So touring is there, songs hopefully coming out soon. Other than that, yeah, just living life, I guess. Enjoying. I mean, actually, I've had a plan to move to India for the last few years, but unfortunately, because of the fact that a whole bunch of my touring is in the West still, in the US. It's very hard to get from India to New York or LA. It takes about
Of course.
a whole day pretty much. So I think that's been a big issue. So currently what I've been doing is winters in Asia and summers in the West, basically. That's been my kind of rough life model.
Best weather pattern, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we wind up, one thing I would really want to understand from you, and I was quite moved by it. You have been the ambassador for CRY, and
Mm,
how's it? Is it pronounced correctly, CRY, or is
that's
it
correct.
pronounced?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cardiac risk in the young. That's correct. Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to share some work that you have been doing there?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if people are all aware, but so I was actually married and my wife passed away in 2019 or 18, 19. So yeah, she passed away very suddenly from an undiagnosed heart condition, basically. So she was just suddenly just dropped. So yeah, so because of that, we then looked into which charities were sort of which were in that realm of like young people passing away suddenly from cardiovascular diseases, and they're the biggest one in the UK. Pretty much, they cover athletes who have these rare heart defects, and and anybody, I think it's under 30 basically, who has had a heart issue, they support basically. So yeah, there's been and they do free scans in the UK for anybody under 30, like free heart scans. So Yeah, so we did a big charity concert in her honor, which all my friends came to perform. Guru Randhawa and Vidya Vox, a whole bunch of people from UK, US, India uh, came to perform, and then we did a couple of charity walks and fundraising things in her honor. So yeah, it's been what, 7 years now. So and also a song, sorry, we did in her honor, which is called One Last Time. So that came out also 2019, I think. So yeah, but that I feel like that was challenging. I left music for probably about, I want to say, maybe 18 months. I wasn't really doing much. I was kind of dealing with the grief. Obviously, she had just been a core part of my team as well. She actually was part of my management team as well.
He was a
So
publicist, if
and then
I'm not wrong.
yeah, she did my PR and exactly and PA as well. So yeah, so that was big shock, big U-turn in life, I guess. And then after that, kind of came back to music in 2020. I think around COVID actually, and then I had almost a year of COVID, which was not didn't help.
Yeah.
But I was
Right.
doing some lockdown content. So I was in the UK lockdown at home, and I was making videos from home. So but yeah, and then after that, things have kind of become back to normal again. So yeah, back to touring and everything else. So yeah.
You've been through the times in which probably which are very difficult, and you've gone through it,
Mhm.
been there, and now again you're back to what you have to do, and the life moves
Mhm.
on. Um,
Mhm.
it was very important for us to know about your charity side, because so that our listeners can also
Mhm.
understand
Yeah.
and can actually pay some attention to this
Mm.
noble cause that you have been undertaking for so many years now. And
Mm.
on that note, Arjun, it was very noble of you to give me time today and
Thank you very
share your
much.
thoughts.
Thank you.
And I would
Thank you.
look forward to seeing more of your music coming in. And great song already a month back. Let's keep our
Mm.
fingers crossed.
Yes, let's do it. Thank you so much. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Have a
We'll
great
see
day.
you
Bye
soon.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.